Hello. I had a comment left by a regular for one of our regulars who is a big help checking in and pointing things out to me and encouraging me and just the this morning. Uh, this resonated because he said that when I try to load Amazon pages, making this video for YouTube, it loads terribly slow. And then it hit me, yeah, because in just about all these videos, and a whole bunch of the videos that I make, I will want to tell you, like this morning delivered, I got a monitor stand that I put together, and I was trying to bring up, the link to show this is, this is a stand that I just $35, I think is all it was. This is a thing, and it just took forever, and so that got me to thinking. So I was just, and I'm doing that in the process of doing that now, but I wanted to stop and give you an update where I'm heading and of something else that I discovered. I started the other day and then I stopped about halfway through, and that's going through and trying to delete off of my computer, and it's agonizing to me because I've paid for a lot of things, but I'm not using a lot of things. I'm using very little. I'm using very little. I pay for those things and I don't use them, and they're eating up resources, I think, on my computer. So I'm halfway through. I need to go back to that. Go through and just at least maybe I've got two computers now running Windows 11. At least on one computer, remove all this crap that I've got on there. Okay, the next thing. So anyway, I started. Okay, I need to go back to that, which I started a day or two ago. And then what I started this morning was all the browsers that I've got, installed. I need to go through and maybe not eliminate, all, not eliminate 4 of them or something like that. But I need to go through and just pick out 2 maybe, because there might be something I really like about one, but go through, and so I'm started looking at at them. So I was looking at, and I'm still it says Microsoft Edge. Okay, that should not be Microsoft Edge. It should be okay, let me it's Brave, or not Brave, or whatever. What is the one that I try to avoid? And let me click on this. Okay, whoops. Settings. Oh, come on, what's the name of this damn? You do a right click here. No, it says it's Microsoft Edge. Okay, is this Microsoft Edge that I'm running? Okay. Got sidetracked doing too many things. Okay, I'm sure you've heard of AI. People, all that, it's big news. Everybody's talking about it in the computer world. And some of it's already available to us for free. And it's going to get bigger and bigger. And now it's just starting out in a way. AI, artificial intelligence or whatever, it's already made a name for itself. Schools, and even I think even some grade schools. I think, well, maybe I heard of one, but I'm sure it's more than one. You know, kids are turning in. What in the hell? You know, you got little Billy out there that turns in a paper. Billy did this paper. Then probably the teacher, maybe, because I know in maybe high school and colleges, kids were ordering, through the internet. The teacher wants a thing on, history of George Washington or something, and they would get it, buy it. And so, of course, what the teachers did or the schools did is they set it up where a student submits something and they give it a little scan. They don't have to, I don't think they have to scan the entire thing, but just a little scan. It searches through and then it tells you, okay, well, ABC education, site or whatever, that's one of their things that are that's available. That's it. So now they moved beyond that into this artificial intelligence thing, and with it, same thing. I'm sure college kids are using it, and what then they've also found is that there are a lot of people who are editors or news people or researchers or people working in certain businesses, but like people that are writers and are people that are on the internet maybe, and they're producing this this copy, whatever the news is, and it pops up. Oh, okay, and you're reading it and you're thinking that somebody actually looked up all this information and whatever, but no, it's artificial intelligence. They entered some information that they wanted, and you can enter some more, and it goes out and it finds it for you, and then it puts it together for you. And so now some of these people working for CNN or Fox News or something like that, the boss says, hey, I'm paying you whatever it is, $150,000 a year or whatever for you to do the research on this and not have this artificial intelligence doing it. So anyway, this must be Microsoft Edge. Okay, Microsoft Edge has AI built into it. I think I used it a little bit. I think I put in before. I know I did someplace recently, the last week or whatever. I put in who invented blogging, and boom, it comes right back with what I knew it would come back with, that two guys invented blogging, and not in 1982, like I did, but in, I don't know, 1995 or 97 or something like that. And I knew that's what was going to pull up those two guys' names. I don't think they did invent blogging because, there's a reason I don't, and fairly recently, in fact a few years ago, I contacted Rick Manning, who was a writer back in, I don't know, 1982, 83 or something like that, and he wrote an article, The 10 Best Bulletin Board Systems, and he listed mine. And in the review of that, he said, it doesn't have I'm not sure he said the world's only bulletin board system with no disk drives or whatever, but the diskless BBS, I think is what he called it. But in it, he put things like that. There was a conversation going all the time on, and that Jim, writes. I forget. I have the thing here. I should scan it again and put it up or something. But that for blogging, for blogging, that is supposed to be the thing. And now there's a whole bunch of people here that I knew from way, way back, and some of them when they were in high school, like in 1982 or whatever. And some of them think, yeah, I was blogging. But probably they weren't. They had a bulletin board system. They were a pioneer with a bulletin board system. But if they had a bulletin board system that, let me see, I need to, where am I here? Yeah, need to go back here, I think. So they were doing a bulletin board system. And if they had a bulletin board system that just had files that you could download of pictures or games that you could download and stuff like that, if that's all it was, plus a few other things, of course they'd have, that wouldn't be blogging. Blogging is sort of like a diary. And Rick Manning mentioned that, and he did, he wasn't talking about blogging, but he was talking, So fairly recently, Rick Manning, he may have passed away, because a few years ago, not very long ago, he was, maybe still is, the publisher of, I think, Louisville, Kentucky, the newspaper, and maybe the newspaper's gone out of business, how that is, of the Louisville newspaper. And I contacted him and said, Rick, do you remember me, Jim Howard, from the diskless BBS when you did the thing in, wherever we did it? And he says, yeah, Jim, I remember you. And then I asked him, I said, I think that I probably was, I said, if you do a search, who invented blogging, it's going to pop up, who are these people, Bill Smith and Bob Jones or something, And I said, I actually think that and I said, I want your opinion, And he says, I think you were too, Jim. It had every sign of it, that being. And I said, oh, okay. Talked a little bit. That was the end of it. So the other day, or a while back, I've done it several times. Like, somebody came up about blogging years ago, and I did a search. And the same two guys, of course, every time you do a search, they pop up because they're recognized as doing blogging. And so now with artificial intelligence, and I knew, and I forget if it was this site or if it was one of the other places that you can get, you can use artificial intelligence right now. And it's coming, if it's not at your, your blog or your browser or something, it will hit you. It's coming, and it's a big thing, and people are actually concerned about. There's people who are actually concerned about it. There are people who are scientists and even military people who think that a hold should be put on let's stop. Let's not do what we're doing right now because there's a danger, involved. And it's sort of like some of the what Arnold Schwarzenegger movies or some of those other movies. There was one that was actually pretty good. Well, not a movie, but nowadays compared to but it was pretty good back then. Where Skynet, a computer system, is turned on to help the world. And actually, I think that's a different movie, but it's the same thing. I think the other one wasn't Skynet. I don't think. But what happened in that movie that I'm thinking of way back when was, the United States computer system, vast computer system, and it might have been, and Europe's and the rest of the world, and Russia. But I think it was like basically two systems make the movie simple, Our system, which could be, the free world, commonwealth of the world, versus the USSR at that time. And so these computers are, they're computing, protecting everybody, and then they decide, the computers decide, the danger of the world is not, the USSR having nuclear weapons, and the danger of the world is not the United States and NATO having nuclear weapons. The problem is the people, and so the two systems connect with each other, and then they're going to control the world. So there are people who are concerned about this artificial, but they're going ahead. I think I heard it on the internet, I'm sure, someplace, that scientists and military leaders or defense leaders or whatever, were asked, hey, should there be a hold on the United States doing, turning loose, artificial intelligence for everybody, and the military people and the other people said, it would probably be a good idea to wait on this like 6 months or a year and see how things are going to go, and then so I guess the news people or whatever said, oh, so you want to put a stop to it? No, we can't, because China and Russia and other places, they're working, they're releasing it, and then they would be ahead of us by 6 months or a year. So artificial intelligence is here. So I just, since I was going through this let me see if you can see what I can see. Where are we now? Okay. Where do I need to? I need to go here, I think. And from here, let me go here and I do see, okay, this is under, I need to minimize this. Okay, here is, I hope you're seeing it. I need to add a goddamn second monitor to this. I don't like having to do, I keep going back and forth. Anyway, hopefully you can see this on the screen. I'm sure you can. So I just did, okay, I put in who is Howard's notebook. Of course, I should have put in who is Jim Howard. But I put in who is Howard's notebook. So, and then I generated, using AI. So this comes back and says, Howard's notebook is one of the oldest and most influential inline sites in the world. It was created by Jim Howard, a pioneer of blogging and live streaming video, in 1982 as a bulletin board system, BBS. He moved it to the web in 1995 and has been updating it ever since. Howard's Notebook has been recognized by Wow, magazine as one of the 10 best online, huh, online sites in 1984, and featured in BBS The Documentary. Howard's Notebook is a personal blog that covers various topics such as politics, technology, history, and entertainment. I got a copy of that, but I'm wondering if that is when I did the search, like when I did who invented blogging, I wonder if the artificial intelligence took that question and then dug up more information to come up with this. Because when I ran that thing, it came back with those two guys, name in a little bit. This that's here now, it looks like something that I would have written, except I wouldn't have done it as well. Howard's Notebook is one of the oldest, most influential online sites in the world. Of course, that's not true. Not influential. It was created by Jim Howard, a pioneer of blogging and live streaming video in 1982 as a bulletin board system, BBS. He moved it to the web in 1995 and has been updating it ever since. Howard's Notebook has been recognized by Linkup magazine as one of the 10 best sites in 1984 and featured in BBS The Documentary. Howard's Notebook is a personal blog that covers various topics such as politics, technology, history, and entertainment. Good grief. That is strange, and that's scary, because that's the type of writing, see, yeah. So I think you're probably going to want to play with it, and some of you who are writers, and if you're in school, I wonder what you could do. I wonder what you could do with this. I wonder if there's, surely there will be, because that will be part of the like, how was that created? And where did they pull all of that together? Because I'm going to paste this, by the way, go to Howard's Notebook and paste it in because I have something, like similar to that, but not nearly as good. So anyway, wow. So I didn't intend to give you guys such a good introduction. So now what have you people done? What are you doing? Do you have a business? I mean, just how? So anyway, let me go back. Let's see, where am I? Go back here. How long have I been talking? Okay, only 30 minutes. I think we just had something pretty interesting, because I was actually able to show you how this artificial intelligence can pull together data and information. And it's given me something here. I'm going to copy this and go to, update my YouTube site, and so that's going to be something that you'll probably be seeing, because I'm going to put it several places, on my site. Huh. Live and learn. I'm 82 years of age, and I've got a lot of health problems now. I was healthy all my life, really, and then I'm lucky, because I know a lot of people who, but I'm 82, and in the last couple years or whatever, old age has definitely caught up with me. But man, when I was back in high school, where I didn't open my books at all and flunked all 4 years, I could have used something like this. Of course, the Christian Brothers would have probably beat the hell out of us. Might not have been any reason to have Christian Brothers. If some of you have given artificial, I'm sure some of you have, especially if you've worked in some area, if you've done that, you might post something about it and let us know as an example. I definitely am going to use this browser. Maybe this is going to be my main browser. Of course, I have to find the other browser or two that has it installed, artificial intelligence. I wonder if I should I'll do that later. Maybe do it next time I create a video here or something. And then I'll put in who invented blogging, because I did that a month ago, 2 months ago or something like that. And it came back with the standard thing that it always comes back with. That these two guys in, I don't know, a few years ago came up with it. I know they didn't. But the thing is, blogging, the word blogging, what it meant was a site that gave you information, but was also like a diary in that way. And that was a blogging thing. And I did that starting in 1982. And if anybody knows about Rick Manning, of course I could do a search for him again. Not that I'm going to bother him again or anything, just kind of wondering. I think it was a Louisville newspaper. He was a publisher, I think, of a not when he did the article with 10 best bulletin board systems or whatever now, but more recently. What I found, and it wasn't just now. Well, hell, that was like back in 2000 sometime. I mean, no, before 2000. Let's say, not 2000, 1999, 1998. I'm guessing around, let's say, 1997. I was working at a small hospital. Been working there for about 9 years. And I had worked at Trinity Lutheran Hospital back 20 or 25 years before that. And I knew that hospital. I had worked there, I'd worked at several hospitals. And I'd worked there. Well, our small hospital, we had the company helicopter, Life Flight or Eagle, they called it Eagle, I think. Would bring patients to us sometimes. And we sent a few patients down to the main hospital. And very rarely someplace else. Somebody would come into our little hospital, and if they needed to go, we'd send them to the Research Medical Center or whatever. But this was, a patient came in and needed to go to Trinity Lutheran Hospital. And I knew that when I worked there, they didn't have a helicopter landing pad. You had to call an ambulance to drive up to the Liberty Memorial Mall, a park and a place where the world's first uh, monument or whatever to World War One was in the United States was there in Kansas City, Missouri. It's still there. I used to go to it occasionally. Uh, but anyway, they had to drive, up. An ambulance had to go up there, get the patient, and drive, I don't know, 4 or 5 city blocks back to the hospital. So I thought I'd give them a call. I hadn't called in a long time. I guess maybe I didn't realize how long. Anyway, I called down and said, I just wanted you guys to know. Well, I got the operator, and I recognized her voice, and she remembered me. And she had a kind of a weird voice, kind of a voice like a switchboard operator probably should have. So anyway, I passed the information on to security, and then I had her, she was on the phone. And then I said, well, how have you been doing? Oh, okay. I said, how's Mr. So-and-so, hospital administrator? Oh, he passed away. Well, how's so-and-so done? Passed away. All of them everybody had passed away. I just didn't realize how many years that was. And so it just kind of shows you. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to stop this. Let me know what you think of this. Or especially if you've kind of looked into it, or if you're using artificial intelligence now a little bit. Let me know what you think.